Hello Aquarius and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we're looking at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross-watcher, this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Aquarius, let's jump on in. We're going to start with your side of this connection, Aquarius, looking at overall energy, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress with the reading. So let's start with your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with. So you have deja vu. I haven't put the pieces together yet. With surrender here. Codependency with follow your heart. Okay. So there is some sort of cycle that keeps appearing in your love life. And I feel like this person represents some sort of cycle here. And as things stand right now, Aquarius, I feel like you feel like you're drowning a little bit. I mean, I'm literally taking this image very literally. Because I feel like you're, I feel like things feel one-sided here. When I see codependency, the card, I feel like it is a representation of a giver-taker relationship, specifically in this context. And I feel like there is a lot of giving coming from your end and not a whole lot of receiving what it is that you deserve and desire. Now, at the same time, I feel like you're trying really hard to show up for yourself, to follow your heart in the best way, but I feel like it's difficult. And I feel like there is a need to kind of break down what's really going on here to help free you from this cycle that you're in. So let's look at this person's energy toward you, Aquarius. Oh, drama, friendship, redacted. I feel like this person has been just as drawn to you since the beginning of this connection as you were to them. However, this person's holding back a lot in this connection. They have this redacted card here where it feels like they're not saying everything that there is to really say, or like being honest about how they feel. And then there's this mask or this drama card, which I said mask because again, I'm looking at that imagery. I feel like this person tends to wear a mask in their relationships. And it's almost like there is this lack of deeper connection that is available from them. It's almost like they're keeping you at a distance or keeping a wall built up. And maybe that's what you're really struggling with, is like you're showing up to try to break down that wall, to try to get them to let you in, to try to essentially make this work for both of you. But I feel like it keeps putting you in this position of feeling like you're giving way more than you're receiving, especially if it's like, because I feel like that you can kind of see through this mask a little bit, Aquarius. I feel like this person tries to keep up a front, but I feel like you see beyond that. And I feel like there's just a part of you that's like, if you would just, drop the act, like, let me in, let's make this work, then things would be good. But I don't know, it feels like this person is pretty stubborn. Stubborn's a good word. There is some stubborn energy coming from them. I don't know, though. I don't really know what's going on. Truth of the connection between Aquarius and this person. Romance. Robotic. Oh, so something changed here. With follow your heart again. It feels like in the beginning, it was this really wonderful experience. Things were exciting and promising. And then it almost feels like then this person withdrew emotionally almost entirely. And the dynamic became very robotic. And I feel like it's hard because you're wanting things to go back to how they were when they felt really good. But you're kind of stuck in the space that you are. So I feel like, again, this is the second time we're seeing this follow your heart card, right? We saw it on your energy and now we're seeing it in between this. I feel like this is this is easier said than done for you, because I feel like to follow your heart, obviously you have strong feelings toward this person and you want to really make this work. But then on the flip side, I feel like you're struggling to continue to be in the experience of this relationship where things don't feel the way that you would like them to feel. And so that's kind of got you almost at a crossroads here, because I feel like you're like, but I know, like, you've seen the potential, right? But then at the same time, now you're watching things kind of fall apart almost. And I feel like you're trying to do everything that you can to keep it together, like keep the connection together. And that's where this energy of drowning is kind of coming from. Overall theme of this reading for Aquarius. But I feel like there's a lot more to this story. So bear with me, because that was just overall energy. There are other priorities and someone has unmet needs. So it's like you've fallen on this person's priority list, almost like they stopped treating you like a priority. And I feel like, yeah, your needs are very unmet here. Here's this commitment. I feel like you're very committed to them. I do feel like there is a commitment here, or there was. So I don't necessarily, like on the surface, it's like a surface level commitment. It's like there's a label, there's a title, like boyfriend, fiance, girlfriend, wife, whatever the case is. But it feels like there's this, like, the lack of commitment you're still receiving from this person. Because, like, saying, committing to someone is one thing, and then actually showing up for that commitment is another thing. And I feel like this person, it's like, I don't know if there's complacency here. I don't know what it is, but it feels like quite a bit of withdrawal coming from them, which probably has you second guessing, right? Where you're going, well, what did I do wrong? Or why wasn't this enough? Or whatever the case is. But usually there's more to the story than that. Like, I feel like not everything is as black and white as it might seem. But yeah, I do really feel like you're having unmet needs in this connection here, Aquarius. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to take a look at what you can do, because this isn't a healthy space for your soul, right? Because I feel like there's this energy of feeling very drained by this. All right, Aquarius' side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Aquarius's energy toward the person they are dealing with. Knight of Swords and Nine of Swords. King of Cups in reverse. Knight of Swords is in reverse. I didn't think I said that. Nine of Swords is upright. Two of Cups. Sun in reverse. And the Empress. It's in reverse, okay. Okay. There's a lot of anxiety that I feel about the state of this connection, because I feel like you really don't want to lose this connection. You really don't want to lose this person. And I can absolutely understand that. I feel like there's a lot of love here. And I feel like you have, so much hope for the potential of where this could go. And I think that that's something that you've been trying to bring to fruition for a while now, meaning trying to do everything you can to make this connection work, to feel like you're at a place where you're receiving what it is that you need. And I feel like there's been a lot of sacrificing your needs and your desires here to try and make this work. And that's where I feel like there's a lot of giving coming from your side, a lot of investment, a lot of pouring your time, your energy, your commitment, your effort into this person. But I then feel that you're feeling a little bit, or a lot of it, maybe even undervalued here, because with the Empress in reverse, like, this is this energy of feeling like there's no space for you, for your needs, for your desires, for your dreams, for your goals. It feels like it's kind of become a lot about what you can do to make sure that this person is happy. Because I feel like your goal is to try to get them, to continue to commit or to stay in the connection or whatever the case is. And I think that that's because you've started feeling them pull away. And so now you're doubling down on doing what you can to try to reel them back in. And that's a really, really hard place to be. And I think that you're, like I said, this seems to be a cycle that is very familiar in your love life. Just feeling like no matter how much you do, no matter how much you pour into someone, no matter how hard you try, it never seems to be enough. It is enough, okay? It's so important for you to know that you are and always have been enough. But I do completely understand that feeling and that cycle. And a lot of times that can happen when we're attracting partners who aren't able to meet us at the level of emotional depth that we need them to consistently. Now, I think that it's hard because I feel like at one point you were getting what you wanted from this person. I feel like in the beginning things were good. But then as the connection settled in, I feel like something switched. It's like there's something that changed in this person's energy. And now I feel like you're trying to do everything you can to get this back to how it was in the beginning. So let's see what is going on with them. This person's energy toward you, Aquarius. my goodness. Okay. Whoa. So let's talk about this because I feel like there's a lot to unpack here. Wheel of Fortune in reverse, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, Justice in reverse. That's why I was like, oh my gosh. Nine of Wands, Ace of Swords, Ten of Swords. I feel like, how do I say this? This person carries a lot from their past, a lot of baggage from ways that they've been hurt before. And I feel like they're used to getting hurt in relationships, and they project that expectation onto their relationships. Now, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality, according to psychology, is actually conscious level decision making. Meaning that the majority of the way that we're interacting with our relationships, the decisions that we're making, all the things, is actually coming from not our conscious awareness, but a subconscious reaction. And healing is about becoming aware of those subconscious reactions and not allowing those things to dictate and make decisions for us. I don't feel like that person is at that place yet where they're able to recognize that they project their wounds onto others. So ways in which we can project our wounds onto others is say that we have an abandonment wound or a betrayal wound. If we haven't healed these wounds in our relationships, we're going to bring these past experiences into our current relationships, and we're going to place them on our partner, meaning that we're going to expect them to abandon us. We're going to expect them to betray us. And when we have that expectation, we don't feel safe in the connection, so we push it away, or we withdraw, or we hold back. We don't want to be vulnerable because we don't want to repeat that wound. I feel like that's a lot of what this person is doing. I feel like this connection was really wonderful in the beginning for both parties. And I don't feel like that was something that was fabricated. I feel like that was something that was very real for them too. But at the same time, I feel like they have so much of this, they're coming from so much of an unhealed place that as things started to develop and as things started to become a little bit more intimate and serious and get a little bit deeper, this person started getting a little bit more afraid because they're afraid of this wounding. They're afraid of abandonment. They're afraid of betrayal. They're afraid of getting hurt in some way. And I feel like it's almost like they're in this position where feeling like, and this is what happens, this is typically where takers in relationships come from, is they feel that they have to take from the giver as a source of validation for their wounding. So the more that you give them, the more that tells them that they're safe and that you're not going to hurt them. But that isn't fair to you because they're looking for their healing through what it is that you provide them in this connection. So instead of actually doing the healing themselves, they're using this connection as a scapegoat for it. Now, this is very, very common in relationships. When someone is unhealed, they will either overgive or overtake. And a lot of times, the taker isn't doing it to screw over the giver. It can feel like that because of the way that they act, but it's not coming from a place of this person trying to hurt you. It's coming from a place of this person trying to feel safe, and unfortunately, they only feel safe when they're receiving that validation. Now, I think that there's a lot more to unpack about that depending on your specific situation, but it's important for you to know that the way that this person is behaving is a result of their wounding. And there's nothing that you can do to make them heal or to love them into not coming from this place. Their healing is the only way that they are going to be able to be driven more, well, essentially, because if we're not being driven by our wounding, we're being driven by our healing. But if we're not healing, our wounding will continue to take the wheel. So there is a need for this person to really get in touch with understanding why their wounds drive them into doing essentially pushing away what it is they truly desire, because they're not reciprocating, not from this place of, again, trying to screw you, or trying to take advantage of you, but because I feel like this person, because people can only love others to the extent that they love themselves, right? And it feels like this person struggles to see themselves in a lovable way because of things that they've been through in the past. So the way that they're interacting with this connection is coming from this belief that they are unlovable, and essentially that you hurting them is an inevitability. Now, obviously, that's not fair to you, right? Especially if you've shown up with nothing but good intentions and kindness and a willingness to try to make things work. And that's what I mean by that. It's not fair to you because they're projecting their past wounds onto this connection. Now, that them having the awareness of that is gotta come on their time. There's nothing that you can do to make this person see that this is what they're doing, because in order to heal our old wounds, we have to be willing to address them, and addressing them is painful. It's very uncomfortable, and most people spend lifetimes running from actually doing the work, which is why I feel that this person's coping mechanism is essentially to keep the world at a distance, but to also receive any validation they can receive. Because if you think of it this way, takers don't have a limit, but givers do. Takers can take as much as they can, right? As much as they want. Givers, you only have so much energy that you can give to other people, and you could pour everything you have into this person and it still not be enough. Not because you are not enough, but because the constant need for validation of their wounding is something that they are searching for in you. And that's where the unhealthy dynamic starts to arise. So when you're dealing with unhealed people who are struggling with being able to take accountability for their own wounds, the best thing that you can do is make sure that you are protecting yourself from overgiving and underreceiving, because your needs deserve to be met. You deserve to be a priority. You've been through stuff too. You've experienced, wounding too. And this person, and I said this in the beginning, but it felt like this person's or their, needs and desires and all that has become the priority in this connection, and yours have been completely pushed to the back burner, not just by this person, but by you too, because the way that this dynamic exists is in order for you to keep this person in your life, or to, at the very minimum, to receive what they give you, you have to overgive. And that dynamic needs to be addressed, because that is unfair to you. That's not how healthy relationships work, because that's going to keep you constantly on edge. That's going to make you constantly wonder, am I doing enough? Am I giving enough? Am I enough? Am I being enough? Are they happy? Are they good? Are they, are they whatever? Because you fear that if you're not making sure that they're good, that you're going to get hurt at the end of the day. Now, obviously, taking other people's needs and desires and relationships into consideration is incredibly important, absolutely, but it should be reciprocated. So with that being said, Spirit is trying to draw you into the cycle that is existing within this connection, and maybe even other connections that you've had that are similar, where you feel like you pour and pour and pour and pour, but you're dealing with someone who isn't able to meet you at that space that you deserve to be met, to give you the exact same energy in return, because of their lack of healing and emotional availability. Now, when we're dealing with people who lack healing and emotional availability, a lot of times, if we are also kind of feeling like coming from a place of wounding, we're going to look at that like our fault. We're going to look at their inability to love us in the way that we deserve, to choose us, to give us what we need, is a reflection of how we are not enough, is a reflection of how we are not valuable enough. And when that starts to happen, that's where these kinds of dynamics can start to really take a toll on you. And it's so, so important. Spirit really needs you to know that the way that this person is behaving has way more to do with them than it has to do with you. And you are capable of having the love that you deserve and desire, regardless of whether or not this person heals. And I feel like that's so important for you to know, Aquarius, because at the end of the day, you are valuable for who you are. You are valuable for just existing on this earth, okay? You are a valuable human being with a valuable life, with valuable needs. And you deserve to be treated as such. You are not here to prove that to anybody. You are not here to show anybody that you are deserving of love. You are not here to prove to anybody else that they are deserving of love either. You are here to show up with love for yourself and love for others. And if that aligns, then that allows you to experience healthy, sustainable, mutual love. But when you're falling one side or the other, there's always a need to look at what's going on below the surface, because right now, this isn't a safe space for you. You're finding yourself getting hurt over and over again because of this person's lack of healing. And that's not fair, right? That's taking on somebody else's lack of healing and essentially bearing that burden for them. And that's not something that you deserve to do. So with that being said, because all of my readings are, the goal of all of them is to focus on what is within your control, I feel like that's what Spirit is really asking you to ask yourself, is what's within my control here? How can I make sure that I am protecting myself from over giving and under receiving? Because you deserve the exact same level of love and respect and kindness and care and consideration that you give. So with that being said, let's hop on over to the extended. You have robotic with romance. We're going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Aquarius, as always. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Aquarius.